Today, I'm going to tell you the story of a hard-working farmer in America, a man who came dangerously close to losing everything. In rural Kansas, where the roads run long and the fields stretch for miles, there lived a farmer named Daniel Brooks. Daniel was not a rich man. He did not live in a big house or wear expensive clothes, but the land behind him meant everything. It was more than soil. It was family, memory, and history. His father had worked that same farm. Before him, his grandfather had too. For generations, the Brooks family lived by the sun, the rain, and the harvest. They knew hard work, sacrifice, and struggle. But this year felt different. The rain barely came. The ground turned dry. The crops rose weakly. Day by day, Daniel felt the pressure growing heavier. Bills piled up on the kitchen table. The old truck needed repairs. The equipment was wearing out. And every morning, when he looked across the fields, one question stayed in his mind. How much longer can I hold on? Still, Daniel kept going. Before sunrise, he was awake. He pulled on his boots, grabbed his cap, and stepped into the cold morning air. He checked the fences, looked over the crops, and repaired what he could. Because that is what men like Daniel do. They do not complain loudly. They carry their burden in silence, and they keep moving forward. One evening, after a long day, Daniel stood alone in the middle of his land as the sun began to fall. The sky burned orange. The barn behind him looked older than ever. The field in front of him looked tired, almost as if it had given up. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he took off his cap, lowered his head, and whispered a quiet prayer. He did not ask for riches. He did not ask for an easy life. He only asked for strength. Strength to keep going. Strength to face one more day. Strength not to lose what his family had built. And maybe that was when everything changed. Not because the sky opened. Not because the land healed overnight. But because something inside Daniel refused to break. The next morning, he got up again. Then the next day, and the next, he kept planting, he kept repairing, he kept believing. Slowly, that strength reached other people. Neighbors noticed. Friends came by. One man brought tools. Another offered help. A family from town arrived with supplies. And for the first time in a long while, Daniel understood something powerful. Even when the land feels empty, you are not always alone. By the end of the season, the farm was still standing. It was not perfect, and the struggle was not over. But Daniel was still there. The barn was still there. And the land carrying his family's name was still alive. Because the strongest people are not those who never fall. They are the ones who rise again, quietly with tired eyes, rough hands, and a heart that refuses to quit. And somewhere in the wide fields of America, Daniel Brooks kept going, one sunrise at a time.